It was my mother who instilled in me the power of communication, the power of words, the power of living by principles and listening to the truth within me, seeking out a higher purpose, something that loved me and wanted me to succeed in life. Now, granted, I've had my experiences with pain, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, that my mother opening the door to the power of communication, the power of speaking and talking instead of blaming or punishing. She wasn't one, she didn't like whippings. That's what she said. I don't like them. Now, granted, I did get a couple that I know of, and she wasn't shy to use it, a belt, but she was more about finding out the purpose, the reason beyond the action. And it's that I take into that principle of communication, not just one way communication, but my brothers and I know that we can talk to our mother on a level of respect, on a level of sharing our hearts with her. Now, we went through our own teenage issues, our young adolescent issues, but this is the reason, because of my mother, I am so bent on communication with my children. And it's through talking, discussing these life changing, life giving virtues, principles that I believe are locked in our hearts, stored in our hearts and our minds, that we bring forth that fruit of knowledge. And when we bring that, we help our children remember who they are, to expose them to the truth within them. So we've been working on unity. Unity is something that there's no doubt in my mind it needs to occur at home more than ever. The conversations at the dinner table, the breakfast table, we're all on a rush, and I can see my children are back in school, this brick and mortar school this fall. And I can see I'm in it, the rush, trying to get things done, trying to still talk to your children and have that necessary conversation to help fortify their walls of character, to help them build that relationship with this divine energy. And I get it, a rush, trying to get things done. But as my mother would say, you can either deal with it. And I had this conversation with her recently. Mom, I can either deal with it now or I can deal with it later. And many of the things that we're dealing with are later. The divisiveness, the prejudice, the racism, the opposite of unity, the virtue that we have been discussing, are working with at home. I actually started talking about unity with our children this past early in August, right before school start, and I just realized that. But when we look at the definition of unity, unity helps us work and live together peacefully. Peacefully. We feel connected with each other and all living things. We value the specialness of each person, not as a chore, not as a deterrent, not to be intimidated by, or to be jealous of, or to be shameful of, or resent, not to see as a competition to who we are, but as a gift to the world. That all of us have something in common, all of us made by our divine creator, are allowing us to be here in this lifetime. We don't see people as, again, And I'll finish it. It said, we value the specialness of each person as a gift, not as a reason to fight or be scared. There's a lot of fear that is circling around, fear that enables, that puts our finger next to the trigger and we shoot or we hit or we beat, not just with our hands, but with our mouths. With unity, we accomplish more together than any one of us could alone. You've heard of the crabs in the barrel. That we feel like there are so many people in competition. We have to get to the top of something somewhere. And then the others, we see it as competition. I'm not going to let you get there. I'm going to get there. And we end up not getting anywhere or get somewhere. And we're so, you know, not, but we're so kind of destroyed by our consciousness that we end up misusing drugs and alcohol, medications, and abusing ourselves and then to others because we know what we did. And what we did was not in alignment with our truth. It was the greed, it was the shame, the guilt, the imposter syndrome, the feeling the need for attention, to be first. Unity squashes all that because it says, you are here, I am here, we are here to work together. That we don't look at our colors, the shapes of our noses, our eyes, the hips, our legs. That is irrelevant because we know that everyone has an individual journey. There are shades of different color. As the world, we look in the world every day, our Creator reminds us of how colorful it is, how colorful this world is. There are nothing that really is the same shade. If there's something different, even with twins. And it's through the light of unity that we're able to really open up our eyes and say, you belong here, and so do I. And we're going to make this work because we're all one. Many of the same fears that we have about our children have a great education. We want them to be successful in life. We want to be good role models. We want to be successful ourselves. We want to be a great parent. We cry when they cry. We hurt when they hurt. As a nurse, I know this. I've cared for many shades of color and seeing the similarities. A heart, lungs to breathe, digestive system. There are no medications for this gender, just this gender, if you will, as far as treating heart disease. Yes, there are some medications that work better and others. Whatever it may be, we can find some type of finite thing to separate. But overall, we have the same internal physiology, biochemistry. We have the same. And so my question, as I asked as a little girl, why would you not like someone because of the color of their skin? Why would you not like someone because they have different beliefs about, and maybe they call God a different name? And I've said it once before, when we think about unity, this falls in line with it. Do you believe in good or do you believe in evil? Because good edifies, evil tends to destroy. And with unity, we edify one another. We build each other up. Unity must start at the home, in the home. Because as I've told my children and as I see how my son interacts with his sister is how he will often interact with other females. How my husband and I interact with each other, we're setting the standard for how our daughter and our son will interact with their girlfriends and their spouses, will interact with people in general. So we set it at home. If we are demoralizing others, if we're making fun of others, Because, what do we expect our children to do? Our children, our babies don't come in the world. And I was thinking about this yesterday. They are not born in the world calling someone outside of their name, someone else outside of their name. They are taught that. They learn it where? Often in the home. And if they don't learn it in the home, often if they have not stopped the behavior, somewhere along the lines, that behavior was not dealt with. Those words were either reinforced or ignored. So it's not about blaming, never about blaming. As I would tell my students, my patients, I would see, it's always about informing. And informing information is part of awareness. It is helping to make accurate information reliable, consistent. It's helping to make people more aware, to see clearly the evolution of humanity, to see clearly the spirits behind the flesh, to see clearly the desires, the hopes, the dreams behind the flesh, the name, the culture, the gender, the religion. Now, I wasn't going to talk about it this morning, unity. I was actually getting ready to go work out, and then something hit me. It's that in the moment, this is what you need to do now. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but we need you more than ever. Within your hearts, within your minds, are the truth. And the truth will help break the cycle of pain. The truth promotes unity, not divisiveness. Illusions, darkness promotes divisiveness. And when we were talking about unity, there was another definition that I happened to look up because I couldn't find my paper. And this is the list of 52 virtues that I printed out over a year ago. I was going to initially do it for the I was teaching, I was facilitating Sunday school when we were in Ohio. Then we moved to Oregon. And I said, you know what? And it was during the COVID, all of that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to share this with my family because of the power of communication. But I was looking up the a second definition of unity. And unity, it says, it's a state of being united or joined as a whole. And it becomes this is another point that when we talk about create a generational love cycle, it starts with the individual first. Whatever we are, if we're in a state of brokenness, if we're in a state of darkness, it's hard to to share our light, to help others see the light. Wholeness starts with the individual. It's always an individual assessment, individual consciousness before there is collective consciousness. That all of these divisive terminologies, it started with some individual and it grew to a group and then it grew out into the world. And the very way we started this cycle of pain is the very way we can break it by using terminology that promotes unity. And when I think about that right now, I'm thinking about compassion. I'm thinking about hope. I'm thinking about forgiveness. I'm thinking about love, joy, patience with others, purpose, realizing that yes, my life has purpose and so does your life. I think about understanding and right thoughts, right mindset, right action. And so as we go through our day, and you think about these thoughts that you have about others, and you somehow know on a level that I don't know if this is right. I shouldn't be doing this. There's something different and something maybe you have covered up because of the need to belong, because you feel if you don't agree with how somebody else feels about a different race or culture or gender, that is almost like you are betraying them. And may I say that anytime you go against the truth that is in you, you have already betrayed yourself. It takes one thought to ripple in this world, to change this world, to make this world a better place, to be in your true state of being, to honor the truth within you, and to share that truth with those you love. At any point, you can break the cycle of pain by creating a generational cycle of love. At any point, you can begin to love yourself as you are and accept yourself. And often it's through our love and through our acceptance that we love and accept others, and we have unity. This is Tamika Chambers with Create a Generational Love Cycle. As I've said before, we break the cycle of pain, divisiveness, intimidation, insecurities, greed, the need to control or demean others, prejudice, all of the things that create disunity. We break that cycle by changing our thoughts, by helping our thoughts to reflect, to align with the truth that's in us, to reflect the truth, because that's why we're here. We're here to reflect truth, to help people remember who they are, to help people fulfill their divine purpose, and to help people create that generational love cycle, a love cycle worth fighting for, a legacy worth fighting for. I'll talk to you guys soon. Remember, it's in your power to make this world a better place. And it starts with you.